Welcome everyone to the Drag Racing Central Race Recap Series, where we will be recapping every NHRA national event in Top Fuel and Funny Car this season. If you enjoy, drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And with no further ado, let's get into it with Top Fuel. In Top Fuel, we saw Mike Salinas come out on top, a driver who won 3 races in 2022. And let's see his road to the final. I could not get round 1 uploaded because of the NHRA.TV malfunctions, but we'll get into that later. But you can see versus Justin Ashley in round 1 through the Top Fuel ladder that's on screen now. But anyways, let's get into Mike Salinas' road to the final.
I'm really wondering if there's a bigger issue with the scrappers than what we were seeing from here. .369 beats 375. Mike Salinas for an appointment with Steve Torrance. And it's going to be Leah who drives into smoke. 3.727.
His final round opponent, Steve Torrance, is also looking for redemption for the 2022 season, where he only had 1 win on tour last season. The 4-time world champion is looking to enter the championship conversation yet again. Here's his road to the final.
Schumacher and Torrance. Does it get much bigger than this? Little puff of the tire for Tony Schumacher, and Steve Torrance goes 3.741. And we get to watch the rematch. Let's see who'll be looking for revenge there. Capco on one side, Mac Tools on the other. Who's going to the final? Coletta drives right into smoke, and Steve goes 3.779.
This shapes us up for the first Top Fuel final round of the season, Steve Torrance versus Mike Salinas. Let's take a look back at that final round.
Can you do it one more time? $3,700.
So there you have it, Mike Salinas getting a big start to the 2023 season in Top Fuel. A lot of things to recap from Top Fuel this past weekend. The Coletta team showed very impressive performance, with Doug Coletta running a career best 364, and the Torrance camp returns to form in vengeance for the 2022 season that honestly was not a bad season, but not to their standards. And could this be Mike Salinas' year? Could he go all the way? Because he had a time like this last year where he had a good sprint in the early part of the season. He got together those 3 wins, but he couldn't pull it off in the countdown when it mattered. But he's in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, the event that's on Saturdays, and the winner of that does get countdown points. So that's going to be crucial for these teams to get in that, at least get in there and have the opportunity to steal some of those points and start stacking them up for the countdown to the championship, because you know Mike Salinas is going to be in the countdown to the championship, let's be honest. So that's going to be very crucial. But anyways, let's move on to Nitro Funny Car. In Funny Car, 2 former champions end up in the final round, with J.R. Todd against Matt Hagan, with Matt Hagan coming out on top. Let's take a look at their road to the finals.
Drivers left in command. Hagan left, DeJoria right, for a date with JR. Hagan 389, 330 miles. A turn of the screw on both. And either Matt Hagan or Bob Task will be back, but only one of them. That is J.R. Todd. All eyes on the right lane. Is that car going to move when the light flashes green? Nope. 391 ever Funny Car final round. No, 3.903, 332 miles an hour in the Gazoo.
This left 2 former champions to battle it out for the Funny Car Wally at the Gatornationals, which would be a very fast and explosive final round.
Here, the Amley Motor Oil NHRA Gatornationals is going home with Matt or J.R. Todd. JR goes kaboom, and Matt Hagan goes to the winner's circle. 392.
Now we look into your top fuel and funny car point standings. We were just talking about funny car, so I'll start with funny car. Matt Hagan, obviously, with the points lead. But I think two drivers in funny car that really have entered themselves into the conversation. If in fact, I'll put three. We can put three: J.R. Todd, Chad Green, Alexis DeJoria. I mean, we kind of expected Matt Hagan to go out there and perform. He's got the TSR Nitro equipment, basically the same team that he was at when he was at Don Schumacher Racing. We kind of expect him to go out there and perform. But J.R. Todd, especially the year he's had the past 2 years, has been really performing as good as that team should. So he definitely reasserted himself that Coletta is back and back for sure. Chad Green, the old-time pro mod racer, not really old-time, but old-time for sake of now. And Alexis DeJoria definitely re-entering their names into the conversation. Alexis, with her last win being 2021 at Bristol with the Toyota support, and you could basically call that a fourth Coletta car if you want to call it a fourth Coletta car. With all the support from Toyota, she could definitely enter herself into the conversation. And obviously, you can't forget about John Force, Ron Capps, Robert Height, and Bob Taskett. I'm sure they're going to get it together some point in the season. But if we look over in Top Fuel, two names stand out to me. Actually, you could say five names stand. Everyone stands out to you in Top Fuel. There's just too many. But Doug Coletta and Leah Pruitt, in my opinion, are the two standout drivers in Top Fuel this weekend. Even though they didn't win, they showed the most improvement from last season. Like I said, Mike Salinas, Steve Torrance, you kind of expect them to win. They're front-running drivers. I would expect that out of them. But Leah Pruitt and Doug Coletta, especially after the year they had last year, both drivers didn't really have good years to their standards. To see them back up front in competitive form, both drivers were running down some 60s this weekend, low 70s. Yeah, it's safe to say that both those drivers will be ready to fight this season, all season long. Clay Millican, too. Clay Millican didn't have the best start to his season, but with that new Rick Ware Racing team and all the money that is being poured into it, it's only a matter of time till he becomes competitive. And also Josh Hart. I probably should have mentioned this, but he did win the NHRA Pep Boys All-Star Call-Out in Top Fuel. That was also this weekend. So Josh Hart could definitely easily enter himself into that conversation. But yeah, Top Fuel is just crazy this year. If you could not pick a driver in that class to win the championship, there's no clear pick at all. But now that is going to be it for the point standings. Some takeaways from the NHRA national event in Gainesville. Number one, we'll start with the negative. The NHRA.TV bugs. I don't know. Listen, I'm not exactly a behind-the-scenes person. I don't know how all this works. I'm just a fan. But NHRA.TV, for some reason, it just, for some points in the day, didn't want to cooperate. And it's kind of sad because for the times in the day it did cooperate, it was great. The new NHRA.TV, when it actually does work, is a flawless improvement from last year. Like, it is just 90 times better from the NHRA.TV last year. And I still highly recommend people get it because I do technically believe that it is a great system, and it will be a great system once NHRA gets it working. But NHRA.TV, it just it's having a couple of rough days to get figured out, and I hope by Phoenix we definitely have NHRA.TV, and I'm sure everyone at NHRA is working much harder at that than we all know. So I have confidence that the NHRA will get NHRA.TV, especially the new NHRA.TV, up and together. And I want to talk about the start of the season. Now, this has been a big topic in some communities I've seen. Should the start of the season be in Gainesville? Because we've seen this year with the start of the season in Gainesville for 2023. The teams pushed for it due to economic reasons. Should this be the permanent start to the season? Me personally, I think so. I don't see a reason why you see what we saw this weekend and you want to go back to Pomona. Pomona, it's a great historic racetrack. Regardless of the history, the fans have not shown up in recent years. Pomona has not been the track that it once was 20 years ago. And maybe the market doesn't support it. I'm not exactly an expert, but I do know, look at the picture of the stands at Pomona and look at the picture of the stands in Gainesville. It's a clear difference. And I don't think it matters that Gainesville could be anywhere and it would still be packed. You put it in the middle of the winter and it will probably be packed. But Gainesville, in my opinion, from this weekend, more than earned its spot to be the opening race, and I definitely think it deserves it. Gives the teams more opportunities to prepare by extending the off season, and it's just better for everyone around. So, in my opinion, Gainesville should be the final or the opening race to the season. Now, I want to know what you guys thought of the 2023 NHRA Gatornationals. Leave a like, comment down below, and you can give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at Drag Racing Central. And that's going to be it for this week. We will see you guys at the next race, which will be in Phoenix, Arizona, for the NHRA Arizona Nationals. We will be doing the same thing that weekend. So I'll see you guys in the next one.